I don't think Facebook is going away. And I am using it, and it's been actually incredible. And when I remember when it came out, I felt old, and I felt like it's too late for me to get into this stuff. And that was when Facebook was new. Now it feels like it's the old people system. Now they bought Instagram way back to deal with that, and WhatsApp. And I'm thinking about, why is it old news? Why has this happened so quickly to them? Because you'd think in the old world, something would last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and just become a conventional platform with stability. And that doesn't happen anymore with anything, I don't think. And they're certainly no different. So they're in an existential crisis as well, because there is a movement away from Facebook, even with people who are on it, because there's a feeling of I don't like this. This doesn't feel right to me. And I'm talking now about entrepreneurs, coaches, and service providers who are trying to figure out, how does this fit with the business? I'm using it because a ton of people are connecting with me there, and they're doing it. I'm not doing anything. And then I started seeing this happening, and I thought, who are these people? And I found a lot of them are bots of some sort. Um, they're trying to, often a lot of them are lead generators. They're trying to sell me something. And I'd say 95% of them have an agenda related to business. And I thought, I'm leaning into this. I'm going to lean into this because I did that for years. So I own a lead generation sales outsourcing company. So for me to be judgmental about people using Facebook like an email spamming system is hypocritical. And I might as well figure out how to make this work for me, but not depend on it at all. And that's fundamentally the point. Why Facebook became old news is, a lot of us who are leaning forward into what's next realize they're going to keep changing their algorithms and their systems, and it is not going to be in our favor. It's always going to be in their favor. And as a business owner of any kind, coach, entrepreneur, service provider, building a Facebook group as a business asset, building relationships on Facebook as a business connecting system, doing anything on Facebook long term for business is dangerous. It's not stable. They can shut your account down. They do it all the time. They can decide to change their system. They could take the group system away. They could close it and decide, oh, this isn't working for us. And whenever I understand a company, I go back to its founder's story. It's always the story at the beginning that leads to where it ends up. And Facebook started as a platform at Harvard to rate the attractiveness of women on campus. And when it came out into the popular imagination as the platform that won, my desire was to participate in it. And I thought of it from a business standpoint of, how can I use this? And I didn't find a way. And I saw other people finding ways. And they were building influencer reputations on Facebook's platform. And then as Facebook was changing things, their businesses were collapsing. And this is what always happens. This happened with the App Store. It happened with Salesforce, with Force.com. It happened before with eBay. It happened with Google. And it's going to happen. And it's already happened in a lot of ways on YouTube. And we got to understand this to protect ourselves against the disconnect between my vision for my life and my business and their vision for their life as a business. It goes back to the story. It's the founder story. If I look at Substack coming on right now, it's not that. It's the opposite. And I'm looking at what Substack's doing, becoming a multimedia creator platform for creators that have audiences and followers that aren't fans, but are interested in the topic of what that person's talking about. I'm like, oh, that's where it's going. A lot of people haven't seen this yet, but I'm seeing this emerging quick, and Substack's on it. Now there's some issues with it because of the gating of the content. So it's hard to roam around in the same way you can do on Facebook. However, on Facebook, everyone has an agenda. So there's an attractive character presentation of some sort. They're reaching out to me because I'm in their target market. My avatar is in their target market. They're not interested in what I'm saying. On Substack, Medium, Quora, subreddit, um, people are interested in what other people are saying. They're sharing experience, ideas within a marketplace as experts, and other people are interested. That's why they're there. YouTube has that too. On Facebook and even LinkedIn, that's not true. On Facebook and LinkedIn, people are looking for clients for their business or jobs. On LinkedIn and on Facebook, I don't know what they're looking for, but some of it, I'm like, who are you and what are you doing? I can't even figure it out. And sometimes I just think it's a bot or it's a marketing agency that somebody hired that's aggregating lead generation for individuals, and I'm in their target market. Now, I started with it of a fear of missing out because I always want to be ahead. I always want to be a couple years ahead of whatever's going on in the society and in my market because that's entrepreneur survival. It's entrepreneur survival. Stay ahead always. But when I get on, the fear of missing out went away and I thought, I don't need this at all. It was a popularity contest to gain followers personally for people sharing their photos of their vacations. And I thought, well, I don't want any part of that. Um, but I did it and I set up my personal profile and I made it right. And I did it how you're supposed to do it because I thought there's a business um, imperative here to be visible around what you do. That was the only reason I did it, or I would have closed the profile because I didn't see any utility in it personally at all. Now I'm back paying more attention, where with the politics, I just opted out because I'm like, none of these people know what they're talking about. They're just sharing their opinion and they don't know anything about what they're talking about. So it's opinion people fighting with each other, thinking if I can just make my opinion persuasive enough, I'll get them to see, I'll get them to get it. And this is going on both sides. And I'm like, opt out. So I did. I opted out and I stopped paying attention to it. But when all these people started connecting with me recently, I thought, wow, what is this now? A business lead generation, community engagement system. It's not part of my core strategy, but in some ways it's very important and it's very valuable. And I'm like, wow, I've got over 2,000 people connected with me recently. And I look at their profiles and I say, is this a real person? That's the start. And I'm not concerned with what they're doing. Like if they're affiliate people pitching me, if they come right in the inbox, and it's called pitch slapping on LinkedIn. On Facebook, they don't understand not to do this. But in some ways, it's more honest. On LinkedIn, people are pretending to be your friend and oh, let's see if we can partner. But that's not what they're really after on LinkedIn often. It's more you're in my avatar. This is my lead generation strategy. And I was on a call with a woman yesterday where she's pitching me with her automated sequences. And I just said, you want to meet? I got an idea that might be work better for you than doing this. And we did and had a great conversation. So I'm not offended when somebody pitch slaps me because I don't take any of it seriously. It's a game. But I can see what everybody's doing because I've experimented with all of it since it started. And it worked in a lot of ways to build a company a few years ago. But what I see is people attached to the old idea and now they're selling it to newbies who don't know what's going on or how it works. And that bothers me because I don't want to see entrepreneurs and coaches and service providers fail and spend like 100 grand on coaching that's not going to work because they're teaching stuff that worked 6 months ago or 12 months ago because it's not based on really understanding your own business. And it starts with product. What have you got? In what combination? Who's it for? Why does it matter? Not for marketing, avatar building purposes, unless you're a marketer. And that's really complex. You need a whole department to do that well. The idea of creating a marketing strategy on Facebook feels ancient, like ancient history. And I look at it and I'm like, that's so complicated. But I see people like Kim Walsh Phillips or somebody like this teaching this. There's a company down in Australia that's teaching it. I forget what they're called. And I'm looking at the output of that because I know what they're teaching. So I can see people coming at me after learning from them and the ads and the whole thing. And I'm like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work for you unless you have media skills and you have a full complement of marketing capabilities in a department in your company, or you can hire an agency. It's too complex. But the question is, how does it fit for me? And the way it fits for me is I'm starting to get to know these people and they're getting to know me. And it's happening slowly. And I don't look at the metrics. How many comments did I get on my posts? How many likes did I get? What I'm noticing is there's a culture on Facebook of connection because the people on there are trying to connect. They don't know how to get clients because they're using something I was doing 15 years ago. And they don't know. They're new, a lot of them. And they're taking these programs that are steering them in the wrong direction. So they're doing it and they're blaming themselves, I think. Why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? So I'm trying to come back it with compassion around they're trying to build their business. So what I do now, I was getting annoyed and I'm like, why are you doing this? Try it like this instead. That doesn't work. So now with Facebook, I'm just saying, hey, what are you up to? I'm not trying to sell them. I'm looking at their profile and saying, what are you up to? I noticed you created an affiliate marketing business. And I'm thinking, if that affiliate marketing person keeps going down that road, they're never going to make any money. Never. And if they make money, it'll last for about a year, at best, tops, because it's not solid. It's not based on a real product. If you're an affiliate marketer, though, and I see these people on Facebook all the time, and you bundle that with who you are, your experience, your expertise, your knowledge in a market, not a market avatar you're targeting, but sharing your experience inside a defined marketplace as an authority in yourself on a place like Facebook, over time, people are going to notice. But that's not what people are doing there. They're posting quotes that are just somebody else's idea. And I noticed they don't even know what the quote means because I can tell from the way they write the post, they haven't done the thing that Gandhi said or Martin Luther King Jr. said or Alex Hermosi, the GERD hero, said. But they're repeating it as a belief system. That's the echo chamber effect on Facebook, and it's not going to work. It will work for some. If you're a great marketer, it'll work. If you're Sam Ovens did this years ago, where he built a multi-million-dollar business using social proof marketing approaches on Facebook. He knew exactly what he was doing, but he did it years ago. It's done. It's very hard to do that now. And he's good, like good, genius level good. That's why he did it. And he sold $2,000 courses and people bought them like, big time. Big time. They get anything out of them? Probably not. But he made a ton of money, and some of them probably were successful for a while because what he was teaching was new, and then it wasn't. And he based it on principles, but he didn't understand the principles. He was figuring them out. So he was teaching something he was figuring out. That's what I noticed when I did his program. And then he evolved and he started something called Zen Business. And then he folded that because he didn't know what he was doing. He was trying to figure out what he didn't want to do the thing he was doing. The point is, when you end up in these social systems, there's not a lot of experts. There's a lot of people who are figuring it out. But you think they're an expert because they've had some business success and social proof that they use to get attention. And they've hired a marketing company to help them, or they have a lot of money to spend on media so they can get known, and then they know how to optimize the media spend, or organically, they've learned how to use Facebook's organic segmentation targeting system really well. And you could do that for like 10 bucks. Well, I don't know if it's 10 bucks a week anymore, but or 100 bucks or whatever, but you can do it cheap. Media's cheap. That's really hard to do. Years ago, when no one was doing it and it was new, it wasn't hard to do if you're good. But most people who are good, who are leaning into what's next, are leaning into what's next now, which is something else. But they could be selling that as a package because it worked for them and they can write it up in steps. And it's easy to sell now because a lot of people don't know that's 10 years out of date. They don't even know on Facebook. So I think it's getting worse. What's coming next is how to evolve your business out of Facebook, but stay there if you want. I like doing it because I'm having fun with it now because I'm engaging with these people who I get them. And it reminds me of me like 20 years ago, where or even less than that sometimes, like maybe even 2020 me in the summer of 2020, where I'm trying to figure out what's next. So I'm trying all these different systems, and I don't see them doing that creatively as much as for me back in the days where I was just pounding the lead gen to death. Like I'm stalking you until you say yes. That was my approach, and it worked back then. It's not going to work now because that approach is saturated. So now you got to get into what I call curiosity thinking. So I call this 5 stages more money now, which is I won't get into more money now, but it's the opposite of pounding the pavement, looking for leads through deciding who your avatar is and what your message is to target them. That's not going to work unless you're a professional marketer or have natural talent like a Sam Ovens and skills. I think it's getting worse because they named the company Meta. And I thought, how are they going to pull that off? I mean, this company started based on rating attractiveness of women, and that tells you about the founder and who he is at the core. And I don't see any change there in that behavior of that company. In fact, I see more of that original founding spirit of this is about popularity. This is about gradations, and this is about hierarchy. That's what that system's about. And if you put a metaverse on top of it, you're going to create a nightmare because no one will know who's real and the quality won't be there. It's going to be a ton of opinions. And anybody who knows how to get that opinion spun in a persuasive, they call it ethical persuasion marketing, based on Robert Cialdini's book. And they're going to win, but they're going to win in a declining market because more people don't want to be part of that. And I think more will opt out of it. I'm on the metaverse. I have a video metaverse campus. I use the metaverse, but I don't use Facebook's metaverse and I never will. Why would I do that? I can't even tell now what's real. Why would I want to be around a bunch of people where they're trying to sell me something all the time, or they're not even real? They're scammers. They want to get my information, or their lead generation for plumbers, or their lead generation for escort services. I noticed that. Uh, or they're selling crypto trading, or they're lead generation companies and their clients are selling crypto trading and they get a piece of it. I don't know. That's the problem. Or they're just fake accounts from overseas trying to get your credit card number, or spread disinformation to destabilize the United States or another country. Because Facebook's global. There's people trying to destabilize areas that turn into war zones on Facebook. Um, how are they possibly going to develop a metaverse? Who would go? Other people selling stuff would go, and they're fighting with each other to sell each other stuff. That's craziness. So if you're going to build a platform for your business, evolve your business out of Facebook right now. And and LinkedIn too, any of these technology companies. LinkedIn's different, but it's still the same fundamental problem where LinkedIn's in charge of my business. They could turn my account off right now. They could hear this. They're out their AI could hear what I'm saying, and I trigger something in their system and they turn my account off because I did something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. They don't even know because it's all automated. But the appeal at LinkedIn, I know it's hard, but I know people get their account turned back on. Good luck with something like Facebook or Google or YouTube. I've been appealing my ban on YouTube for a year. I didn't do anything. It's all algorithmic. And the appeal process is a joke because it's algorithmic AI bots sorting through the appeals. These systems are too big for them to manage, and they don't care because it has nothing to do with their business model. In fact, they don't care at all about anything except whatever that was founded for. You can track that and say, now it's got money involved and big business involved, and those things integrated somewhere. So the attractiveness platform that is Facebook is going in the toilet, and eventually it'll just collapse. And Meta is not going to solve their problem. And they're not going to change their business model unless the consciousness of the founder changes. And somehow Mark Zuckerberg has an enlightenment moment and he realizes, what am I doing? Why do I need more? Why don't I elevate myself and figure out what to do with my life now? It's not going to happen, at least from what I can see. And even if he does, he may not be able to change anything because it's a gigantic mess now. What this is about is us. This is about entrepreneurs, coaches, and service providers. This is about us. So I was thinking of this idea, and I'm labeling it liberation mechanics. The liberation mechanic is going to succeed in this environment because the liberation mechanic is a good mechanic. You got quality, and your idea of liberation is free yourself to have a better entrepreneur experience, and other people are going to want to come along because you're real. They may not see you right away, but they will if you keep at it. That is an opposition to the other category, which I started thinking of as the opinion projectors. So I wrote an article about this if you want more details on the content page, and the link's right here. The opinion projectors are just doing that. They have an opinion, not deep experience yet. It's still an opinion. They're still figuring it out. And I'm talking about the top people because they haven't figured themselves out at a deeper purpose level. So some of these big celebrities are what I would call opinion projectors. And the way you know is it's their opinion. So you don't hear principles. When somebody's talking from principles, you know there's a frequency to that because they're not saying, I'm popular, be like me. They're saying, here's what I've experienced. I call it experience sharing. So the opinion projectors are running the world right now on social media. All of the channels. Elon Musk on X is an opinion projector. And you see it on all these channels. It's opinion projectors. And we're tired of it. That's why it's going to end. I don't know when. And I know that I'm going to stay engaged with those platforms and these platforms because it's working for me. But I'm doing it on my own terms and I'm not building my business on it. That's the point. What do you build your business on then? Well, you anchor it in your engagement strategy and your experience strategy. And the experience delivery strategy is, what kind of company do I want to have? What is my product? What is your product? What do you want? And the integration of that with everything that you are makes you a liberation mechanic because no one else can do it. And if you start with product, it's unique and high quality. If you want to become an opinion projector, your projector is not big enough. It's just not big enough. And the only way to get it to be big enough where you cut through is to either become a liberation mechanic, and you'll cut through because your people will see you. All of a sudden, it'll be like, oh, this guy's actually real. And that works long term, and it can work quick. If you are an opinion projector and you're a little one or a new one, and you're trying to figure out, how do I get to be big and popular like them? It's not going to happen because that's not how they did it. This is the fundamental truth of this. When Mark Zuckerberg figured out Facebook, he was an original. He's a genius at analytics. He's what I call an analyzing organizer. The analyzing organizers run the world right now because they control all the technology. And that can't last either, because we're getting tired of the technology that doesn't work. I'm tired of doing tech support on all these other people's technologies that get it right. But the analyzing organizers are running all these technology companies, and they don't know what they're doing in terms of life experience. They don't have a depth of purpose that I see anchoring what they're doing, like Warren Buffett style or Oprah style or Michael Singer style or Ray Dalio style. They're not liberation mechanics. Steve Jobs was. He struggled to get there, but he got there for sure. I know that about him. I can just see it. But people only focus on the selfish stuff he did, but that's selfish service in a way, because he was bringing an original idea into the world on his own terms, showing the market what was possible. That's a liberation mechanic. I don't see a lot of that in the tech industry. It's a bunch of, and I think Mark Andreessen started that way, but he's not anymore. I don't think so. He's got it though. He could be. So could Elon Musk. They have the potential, but they're not there. So opinion projectors of that scale are dominating the conversation everywhere they go. You're not going to get there. Why did they get there? Because they had a big accomplishment. Why do people listen to Jeff Bezos? He doesn't know what he's talking about in terms of life. It's because he knows how to get billions of dollars, and that's what everyone wants. So they're trying to be an opinion projector like Jeff Bezos. It's not going to happen for you. You have to be off the charts, analytic organizer smart. That brain processor you've got has got to be like Bill Gates level. It's not going to happen. I know that. It'll never happen for me, and I don't want it. I want to be a liberation mechanic. And I think what's exciting right now is I think this is what's next. I think we're going to rise. I think the originals are going to rise. And that's what happened before. It's just they had the technology ability, so they were able to rise. But I think that's kind of running its course. And when I say this, people are like, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is the intent behind it. So it was change the world intent at the beginning. The browser, the original Mosaic browser in Netscape from Mark Andreessen and Jim Clark, was designed to change the world because Walden Books was far away from the little town in Wisconsin where Mark grew up. And then he ends up at University of Illinois and there's supercomputers. And he's like, oh, Look at all these people and all this information. How can everyone have this? Done, done. That's the vision right there. If you have that, you're a liberation mechanic because you're freeing the world from a trap that it's in. You're evolving the world and yourself selfishly. There's no conflict there between evolving the world, bringing it together, and doing what you are meant to do from a deeper vision and a deeper purpose.